Welcome to this Zentangle Quickie. My name is Heather Hartwick Gladden. I'm a certified Zentangle teacher. And today we're going to take a look at the Tangle Cash from CZT Candy Lee. Now this is a grid pattern. And I'm just going to do a 4 square so that way you can basically see what it looks like. Let me get positioned here. Good. Yeah. All right. The pen is catching funny. Taking the tile right from out from under my hands. Okay. Then, let's see, we're just going to divide it in half or as close to it as possible. And then, same thing in the other direction. Okay. All right. Now, after you have your grid, we're going to do one more step to the grid, and that is we're going to draw diagonal lines through it. Now, if you're, well, regardless of what size grid you're doing, this is my way of making the grid that has a diagonal line through it as forgiving as possible. So what I'm going to do is I'm starting at this point, and I'm just going to go from corner to corner, and I usually kind of pause and then go from corner to corner, or sometimes I'll say intersection to intersection, and it's a lot of times it's just what I say in my head that keeps me from just going, oh, diagonal line. And then, you know, if your grid is not perfect, which it shouldn't be, then you know, then you end up with, you know, lines not going in the right places. Anyway, I find that to be easiest. And if it's in a big grid, same thing. And I'll show you on my sample exactly that. Okay. Then we're going to do some auraing. And let's see. And honestly, I don't think it matters which you start in, but we're going to do one step, and we want it to be, it'll be every other one. So I'm going to start right here. And really, I'm going to just aura this corner. Okay, and then this one I'm gonna alternate, that way I don't accidentally forget. You could also, because we're gonna aura these sections until there's no more room, so you could do that if you'd like. You know, all in one and then move to the next one. Completely up to you. This one helps a lot to just go slow and just watch your pen and try not to think about anything. All right, so once you have that, then I'm just going to continue in here. And if it's not perfect, it's okay. And if you take a look at the description section where I will have the step out, my step out for this, as well as the link to Tangle Patterns where I found this one, you will see, I think it's in, actually it's in the little thumbnail, which would be right after you click the link in the top left. And I'm going to continue around here. We're going to do the same thing in all of these where we started it. But if you look at Linda's thumbnail, she decorated this part. So if you have an instance where maybe things, you know, if it's not even and you're just not happy with it, the best course corrections, because like, oh, well, let's see how we can decorate it. And I think what Linda did was, it almost looked like some of her spacing wasn't even, and that could be on purpose, but you could, you know, you can fill in a line, you know, in between any of them. It's completely up to you what you might want to do with it. But take a look at that, and that might give you an idea, because I know we have a lot of people that, you know, they talk about not being able to draw straight lines for whatever reason. What I found is I can draw straight lines on a short-term basis. So if it's small, it's okay. And again, if you go slow, and so like as I'm going, I'm watching my pen tip almost, and just trying to become one with it. But that's actually, that is part of the Zentangle method, to slow down and just watch what you're doing and focus on just that and nothing else. And just, and let it go. And what I find when I do that, and sometimes it's just it's a conscious effort to slow down and to do that. And then it's like, oh my goodness, look at how nice these lines look. And or if it's orbs or whatever it is, curve lines, and if it's one of those, if you're not happy, there's always another one that you can do. It's just a piece of paper, and save your pieces of paper you're not happy with, because sometimes you can go back to them, and then if not, you just save it for the next time that I offer a Transcend class, and then you do that to it and you draw over it, and it then turns into something absolutely amazing. Okay. The next step in this is we're just going to draw we'll see, I'm going to do it up, well, no, I'm going to do it upside down because that's the way it was working in my hand, but it's kind of like drawing a cursive E, but upside down. You could do it, you could do it up, but this is the way I was doing it. Sometimes just do it the way you're doing it. Let's see, hold on. Okay, so I'm starting right there from that line, and we're doing this in the gaps, as you can see. So the spaces that we didn't do anything, and for whatever reason, that's just how I did it. And like I said, when you find the way that your hand likes to do it best, just stick to it. You could probably have fun with this as well, with the sizing of it. This one, do employ the take off and land concept. So maybe you can kind of see this very, just a little bit, tracing over this line where I'm starting. So just a little bit, so I can work to be on that line where you're not necessarily seeing it. I do the loop and then merge right back into the next line, and it works really well. And like I said, you can play with the size of this. You can play with everything. That's the fun of Zentangle. You can either, because I know, like myself, I like to follow the patterns, and then have fun with them. But my primary thing is like, oh, that looks cool, I want to do that. And that's how I work. I know a lot of people that it's just the opposite, and it's all fine. What's so nice about this is we can all be happy with with the one method, right? We have the freedom to do that. And that is it. So if you want to put it in a bigger grid, and then, you know what, I do want to play with shading on just the single tile, because I did not do that in the sample. Let's see. Well, you know what? We could do a couple things, but here's what I wanted to try this on my sample, but I had a different idea. So I'm going to try it here. And as I like to do, we're just going to try it live, because I don't, unless something goes really wrong, like I get somebody's name wrong or something really big, I do these in one take. What happens, happens, and that's it, and and that's it. Where's my tortillon? So, when some of them are a little goofy or seem to be rambly, that's why. And I thank you for watching anyway. All right, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to put the graphite in. I'm going to do it in both sections. So I'm going to do just some little circles, maybe a little bit of just back and forth motion, and I'm just going to follow this. And because I was thinking, oh, it would be neat to make them look puffy. Ooh, well, let's see. I can always spread it out more. I like to start little. But this is when you don't have to shade. I don't think she had like a shading example in there. Because sometimes it's just neat to have a pattern. And that's that. Let's see, how did that do? Well, it just looks like I darkened the lines. Okay, let's bring it out just a little bit into here. And one thing that I notice with, like here where we're doing this aura-ing, is that if the graphite just goes, see how this just went to this line and not really over it, it just looks like I filled in that line with graphite. Like that was my intention. So one thing that I have noticed is I need to go back and make sure it like kind of goes over the next one, so it doesn't just stop there. And for this, I'm just bringing this in. I was thinking I could have just done the one. Yes, it still looks kind of neat. I'm not getting that rounding effect even on these that I was expecting. Probably because I went in. Well, let's just see. You know, it kind of looks neat with that, just that one darkened. And as I mentioned, that is something that you could do if you wanted to. And I have another idea that I'm going to try. I'm just going to make it all dark. No, I'm just kidding. Maybe I'll try, because I was thinking too, it could go up. I just want to get some of these past that line. Oh yeah, see, that kind of helps a little bit. But let's do this as well. Another neat thing to do if you don't know, where to start with shading, and if you have something like this where you have where you've done aura-ing and you have corners that are lined up, I might need to do them darker. It's always good to start. I think it's always good to start light, because you can always go dark. And because depending on, well, that makes for kind of a neat pattern then. I say, unless I'm working on, like, say, a Zentangle inspired art, even then, I hesitate to use, eraser, anything, just because I'm completely fascinated with tangling, period, and that I can make something cool with my, by drawing with my hands, and so I that's just my challenge to me. But hey, I kind of like that. It's kind of neat. Yeah. I think I will. I think it's a keeper. Except I want to bring this right up to that little edge. Super neat. You can have fun with colors as well, of course. But it's a neat tangle. Let me show you this little sample that I did. And this, I didn't do any shading except to make this look raised up above the rest. I had thought that I could use this as a fragment and rotate it, and then and I was like, well, you can't really. The only thing you could do if you wanted to play with the whole fragment concept, fragments and reticula. The reticula is the grid. Is you could alternate where you start the aura-ing. So if I would start the aura-ing here, and then I was picturing to my mind, I'm like, nah, I don't know if I like that or not, and I decided to go this route and have fun with it. So this, I just did the shading on the outside, real heavy, but I brought the graphite out to the side, and then on the inside, I did the graphite on the inside of the big square, and then brought it to the inside. So it kind of gives that, well, I don't know, it depends on the way my eyes are looking at it. It could either look like this is raised up above, or that this is like a little, like an embellishment on top. It just depends on which way my eyes are focusing. So anyway, it's a super neat tangle. I hope you enjoyed it. And if you did, would love to have a thumbs up or a like on the video. Feel free to share it with your friends. And if you're not subscribed to the channel, I would love to have you be a subscriber. Also in the description section, I want to make sure to highlight the step outs are there, as well as below that, ways to connect with me. So if if this is the first video that you've watched of me and you enjoyed it and you think you might want to try an online class, would love to have you. I do a weekly free class on Thursdays. I do 2 sessions, same tangle, both sessions. We have tons of fun with it. And then there's some others. I do some ones that I have a fee for. And but anyway, the information is on my website, or feel free to connect with me either in the comment section or email. And with that, thanks so much for watching, and I wish you happy tangling.